Hey everyone, my name is William. This is a Set a Corsa Competición, and today I'm going to be driving the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 EVO around Spa. As always in these videos, I will have a hot lap and then set up for you afterwards, going over some things in the setup and talking about it in a little bit of detail. Before we get on into the hot lap, I just want to say thank you all so much for the support. I've gotten some donations recently. I really don't know if I should shout them out or not, but I really do appreciate it, as well as all the likes, comments, the new subscribers, everything. It means a lot to me, and it is extremely helpful. The fact that you guys are as supportive as you are, I really do appreciate it. I'm gonna stop getting all mushy. We'll go ahead and get on into the hot lap, and then I'll be back with you guys to talk over the setup. Enjoy. You can see the time here is a 2:17.289. Take a look at the timetables in case you want to see those sector times. Only purple in sector 3 actually for that lap. Did quite a few laps, in all honesty, just trialing a couple different things, and then honestly just getting my driving sorted a little bit as well. But we'll talk about a couple little adjustments you can make to kind of alter where the car is fast, in all honesty. I did start with the aggressive preset, and this is ultimately what I wound up with. So the tire pressures, as always, GT3 car, you're kind of aiming for about 27.5 psi hot. So just keep in mind you're going to need to adjust this depending on what your track temperature is, ambient temperature, that kind of thing. So, but 27.5 psi hot is kind of what you're looking for your tire pressures. I just really don't want them peaking over 28 psi at any point in the lap. They can, but you don't want them sustaining that for any decent amount of time, as you're going to lose grip whenever the tires do get that much pressure in them. Also, the camber on the rear, it is a little bit aggressive still, but it should be perfectly fine. You could go even more aggressive on the camber, both front and rear, just kind of keep the spread. If you want to go for like a really aggressive qualifying setup or something along those lines. But realistically, if you're wanting to do a long race and you're trying to manage your rear tires, keep your rear tires under the car for as long as possible. In testing, I did go as low as -2.5 degrees of rear camber, and the car is totally drivable. It feels the balance does change a little bit, but the car feels pretty good on that low of camber. and it will help kind of look after those rear tires a little bit more. So just keep that in mind depending on what it is that you're trying to do for the car. My electronics, TC on 2, ABS on 2. Honestly, a little bit more ABS in this car probably wouldn't hurt. Kind of lean on it a little bit. You should play with these anyways, depending on your conditions. And traction control on 2, it's really just I did a lot of laps, and my throttle control kind of goes out the window the longer I run. So the car's totally fine on TC1, just me being a little bit lazy. My brake pad compound is on 2. That's just the best general purpose brake pad compound. It lasts the longest, stays the most consistent. If you're doing qualifying or a short sprint race, like 30 minutes, maybe a little bit longer than that, you could definitely go for brake pad compound 1, but I just set it up on 2. As I said, that's the best kind of general purpose brake pad compound, in my opinion. For the suspension side of things here, realistically, just lowered the brake bias. I almost always do. You could go even lower if you need to. You could go a little bit higher if you need to. It's personal preference. Stiffened up the wheel rates and stiffened the rear anti-roll bar. The anti-roll bars is a really good balance out of the car, and the wheel rates, ultimately stiffening them up really helped the car through the second sector of the track, pretty much like all the heavy-duty corners around Spa. Not the scary ones necessarily, but the bulk of all the corners around Spa. So the wheel rates really helped with that, and the anti-roll bar, like I said, it was a little bit more of a balance thing. With the soft rear anti-roll bar, the car felt pretty sloppy through all the slow-speed corners, so stiffening that up really did help out. Also, if you want to improve the nose, like give the nose a little bit pointier of a nose through the high-speed, medium-speed corners around the track, you can definitely go ahead and increase this front anti-roll bar. I did try it, but ultimately I felt that it made the car a little bit too aggressive on the front end. So something to play with if that's you're wanting a little bit more of an aggressive car. Also, realistically, the one thing I changed straight away from the aggressive preset is this bump stop range. It was on 3, set it to 0, and that solved all of the Eau Rouge Radeon problems. I had I could at least take it flat out. The car was still bouncing horrendously. Some other changes came in to kind of solve that, but on the dampers, this is really just the bump rebound on this car. It's really just trying to control the weight transfer front to rear and keep it balanced. The fast bump, fast rebound, trying to control the bouncing, especially Eau Rouge Radeon. And then whenever you attack the curbs around the track, try not to make it so aggressive that it just wants to buck you off of them, or so soft that it just kind of rolls over whenever you hit one of those. So just going for a bit of a balance there. It takes a lot of time to try and tweak them, so these probably are not perfect, but ultimately this is what I wound up with. On the aero side of things, lowered the nose all the way. I've had no issues with it. And then on the rear of the car, took a lot of rear wing off. Really helps in Sector 1 straight line speed, as well as kind of freeing the car up and not making it push so much through the high speed corners like it was. So having said that, I do think that there is something to be said. So my time was not purple through Sector 2, which, like I said, is the bulk of the corners. I was pretty fast in Sector 1 and Sector 3. Ultimately, I think adding a little bit more rear wing just to like 5 really did make the car a lot faster. Well, maybe not a lot faster, but a lot more consistent through the middle sector. So it's really just a balancing act of what you want. 5 wing on the rear, you'll lose a little bit of speed down the straights and everything, but you'll be really fast through that middle sector. 4 wing, you're going to be fast down the straights, but maybe lose out a little bit in that middle sector, so something to play with. And then also raising the rear of the car actually helped improve the rotation and the grip I was feeling from the rear of the car. It may be because it's getting that rear wing up in the airflow a little bit more, and generating a little bit more downforce, a little bit cleaner downforce. Maybe that has something to do with it, but normally it would improve the rotation and kind of make the car a little bit sketchier on less downforce, but realistically, raising the rear from 60 to 62 just made the car feel better in every way. So I would definitely stick with that, and if you're trying to secure the car up a little bit, if you're trying to make it a little bit more tame, add rear wing to it. Don't lower the ride height. That's just my opinion. You can definitely still try it. There's no harm in that, but that would be my advice. So the last thing is, if you are trying to control your rear brake temperatures on your tires, like I said, if you're doing a longer race or whatever, you're trying to keep your rear tires alive, don't be afraid to mess with these brake ducts on the rear. Kind of open them up a little bit, improve the brake cooling. That way it doesn't soak so much temperature into the rear tire rim. It's going to then go into the rear tires themselves and just build heat even more. So just keep that in mind. I do hope you guys enjoy this. This combo is great. I love driving the Lamborghini around here. Like I said, if there's a car that's going to get into a 16, it feels like it's going to be this one. It still eludes me, but nevertheless, it was a blast to drive. So I hope you guys try it. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the support as always. And until next time, I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.